Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. How are you? Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel. And today we are going to talk about
Halloween
Halloween.
fall season, right? So what we're going to do today is specifically kind of talk about if you guys have any other questions, specifically on preparing your child, especially for the fall season, or talking about questions about Halloween, especially for autistic kids. I think this is the perfect time to have a really good discussion on this today.
Okay, so if you can hear us, can you give let us know? Let me know by just typing one, or let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment down below, and I'll keep tracking. Okay. Otherwise, we'll just like start with the questions we received recently regarding fall season and transitions, and also about Halloween. Of course, is coming up on Friday actually.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Are you guys ready?
And I think one of the questions that I've gotten recently that we're going to talk about today is the change in time zones. Just because, at least in Vancouver here, I do know that like there's some places around the world where there's no adjustment of daylight savings time. So, but we do here in Metro Vancouver. So if you any of you guys um, do have time zone changes or just changes or the switch in from data savings time to standard time, this will definitely be relevant to you.
Right. Okay.
So
So, yeah, depending on where you live, we are in Vancouver, Richmond. So let us know where you are. Okay. So Henry, which questions should we start first?
okay, let's start off
Yeah.
with this one here.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the scenario. So this is what I've got. So as the daylight hours shorten, as you know, bedtime routines will become more challenging, right? And I read this like I see that the child seems more alert at night or wakes up earlier than usual. And the question is, how can she prepare her child to adjust to the shorter days and to keep a consistent sleep schedule during the fall, especially the change in time to 1 hour slower, right? The first thing is we need to assess because this concerns time, right? The structure of time and the knowledge of time and the knowledge of the feeling of the amount of time has passed, right? In terms of seconds, minutes, hours, and days, right, etc. So first of all, we need to assess, wow, how well does your child understand or aware of the time, the concept of time? Does your child understand the difference between 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours, etc. So first of all, we do need to kind of think about that and assess that, right? But assuming that the child does understand the concept of time, what we could do is one of the things that I find that is often effective is preloading.
Right.
So before the adjustment of time happens, right? For example, today is October 27th, right? And here in Metro Vancouver, the end of daylight savings time will change um, this Saturday evening, right? So I think this is a really good time to brief our kids about, okay, you know what? Every single year, at least in Metro Vancouver, we have what we call standard time and daylight savings time. So at the end of daylight savings time, we have to adjust the clock, make the clock 1 hour slower. So we need to give that our child this knowledge first, right? First, second, one of the things that I will recommend is to visually show them in terms of a scale from waking up around 7 a.m. to bedtime at around 10 p.m. So we're gonna maybe on that scale mark. So for example, right now here in Metro Vancouver, usually sunset would occur at around 6:30, right? So we would mark the time of sunset at 6:30 on this graph here, on this illustration, right? Now, when we prepped our kids that data savings time is ending, therefore we need to adjust the clock backwards by 1 hour, then we can show them graphically on that scale that, okay, you know what, 6:30 sunsets, right? But now after Saturday, sunsets at 5:30, not at 6:30 anymore. So we can mark that on the illustration to really show them graphically what is going to happen after this coming week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you because like preloading, we always say that is important. Also visual, just like how
Yeah.
Henry explained, using a visual to show like the time, 5:30, 6:30. What does that mean? And then we have to plan ahead of time. And then also it can be really overwhelming for kids if we have to change the schedule on the spot. Like it's lost for all of the time. It's really impossible to do that, and then we can expect too much if we don't prepare well beforehand. Yeah, so I hope this can answer that parent's question. And yeah, and
And not just that. So let's just say that the daylight savings time has ended, right? And just assuming that this is Saturday night, Sunday morning, right? So one of the things that I would recommend for sleep is, let's just say that the child sleeps at 9 p.m., right? But because the data savings time has ended, right? So we're going to shift to standard time. So that means whatever happens at 9 p.m. before, now it occurs at 8 p.m. So meaning that the child will have to sleep earlier. So what can we do? I think one of the things that we can do is, obviously it's not easy trying to change habits. Never mind like autistic kids, even for neurotypicals, right, in the mainstream society, right, it can be challenging for kids to be able to get used to the new sleep schedule. So I think in this type of situation, what we can do is go through this process in a gradual manner. So let's just say that during the daylight savings time, your child sleeps at 9. So from now on, we are going to have the child sleep at 8:45 instead, 8:45 p.m. So let's just say that, give or take 2 or 3 nights, if and if the child understands and start to get used to be able to go to bed at 8:45, then we can slowly um, get the child to sleep at 8:30.
right,
And this process will repeat on until, if the target time that you're trying to get your child to sleep is at 8:15, then you can set that target time to 8:15 and gradually have the child to sleep earlier and earlier to 8:15
right,
p.m.
right, exactly. So actually, Henry, I think we forgot to introduce ourselves. Like just in case if anybody like don't know about us and you're watching. So my name is Sally Yim, and I'm the behavior consultant at Bridge Kids, and also I'm the clinical director. And Henry is also one of our behavior consultants at Bridge
Right.
Kids. Okay, so
That's right.
and then if you have any other questions, feel free to comment. And also we have our website and our online courses, and we will link everything down below if you're interested. So maybe we can go to the next question.
Okay, let's take a look here. Let's see. I saw something that is really good here. Okay, I think this is good. Clothing and sensory sensitivity. So the weather's getting colder, and this parent is trying to get his child to wear sweaters, jackets, and long pants. This child refuses certain fabrics, tags, or layers, and insists on wearing their favorite summer clothes. The question is, um, this child hates wearing warm clothes, and how do we help them tolerate jackets or long sleeves without meltdowns?
Oh, this
How about
is
you?
super common.
This is very
Right?
common. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say lots of children, they have hard time like changes. Like it's one of the things that we always talk about. Um, they have hard time changing things because if they're so used to wearing the same t-shirts for the summer, and when all of a sudden you want him to change into something different, we have to prepare them. But then we also have to make sure like understand the sensory needs of your child.
Yeah.
Some kids, they're super duper sensitive on like some materials, so we have to be really careful if there's a pattern. So sometimes we don't know why like he's okay with this shirts but then not the other one. So we have to know, like kind of like observe why, like is it because of this shirt has a certain like type of material that he likes, or the smell, or maybe it doesn't have a tag on the back or the other one does. So one number one, I think observation is very important.
I think especially noticing patterns of what types of clothing that your child is very sensitive to. I think that's really key. And also maybe notice color as well, even brand, even the style of clothing. Some I do notice. I have a learner where this learner really likes certain brands of clothes, right? Luxury brands, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Like just the logo, or kind of what does that mean?
like for example, like I have a learner who prefers like Nike or what certain brands that line up of a certain clothing or shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we have to take into account of that as well, that type of preference. And obviously, some of the types of preferences may be impractical because some of the brands and lines of clothing are really expensive. So there is a chance. There is a possibility that you may have to make a bound. You have to set really strict boundaries on that, just because, well, if some of the families may not have the financial means to do it, then you can't really do it, right? So you have to set firm boundaries on that at the same time.
That's really interesting. I don't think I have heard of that one, but then for about colors and texture, that I see that a lot. For
Very common.
colors, like colors is really one of the most common, like in my cases. So
Oh, brand clothes.
yeah,
You're right there. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really
yeah. That's
funny.
right.
That's really good. So yeah, I mean observation is important. Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then any
I
strategies?
think in terms of strategies, like, well, one thing that immediately comes up to my mind when it comes to tags is think about cutting the tags out.
Right.
So you can do that
Definitely.
as well, cutting the tags out, but
Yeah.
make sure that whatever clothes that you have, especially brand new clothing, make sure that you don't plan on returning it, because obviously if it's damaged, then you can't refund it, right?
Right.
So
No.
I think that's pretty important to think
Right.
about.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, that's great. So
Anything, I think when it comes to so let's just say that like your child is very sensitive to fleece, right? Then we can
mm,
think about other alternative types of materials that can also be very warm to the child as well. So
mm,
for example, if it's not fleece, we can think about um, fur, right? Or
mm.
how to say it, or even puffy jackets, right?
Okay,
Maybe
right.
it's something that is doesn't have this prickly feeling of that material, but still keeps the child warm. I think will be a really good idea.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also we can have the child to introduce that. We can also think about introducing that clothing to them, and maybe keep that type of clothing on for a very short amount of time, just to sample how it really feels
Mm-hmm.
before actually attempting to have the child wear it if this is something that you want to do for the child.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah,
sometimes pairing is also good,
mhm,
that like we don't throw away the clothes that he likes,
absolutely.
but then let them try on the new one and also have the old one available. But then just take some time for your child to get used to the new one. But then they also know that, oh, this is still
Yeah,
available, so that I'm not kind of like be upset about my favorite clothes going to be gone
yeah,
forever,
yeah.
that kind of thing. Or sometimes I think depends on the cultural background as well, because I think we in our area we work with so many different families. They have different cultural background. For some cultures, maybe they are more they like to put on more clothes on the kids. So maybe that's also a reason why some kids, they don't like to wear a jacket, wear really thick clothes. It's not because of the texture. Maybe they feel just warm, because I know kids actually, they tend to feel warmer than adults, and of course than uh like grandparents.
Or or they're so used to living in a more colder climate, right? They're just so acclimatized to not wearing so much layers of clothing, yet still feels warm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that could be a difference as well, and also individual difference, right? Some people's bodies are just stronger than the others. I mean,
Mm.
unfortunately, that is fact, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody's not made equally, so
Mm-hmm.
something that we need to think about as well.
Yeah, we should take that into
Consideration,
consideration,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So I mean, like every family, every child, everyone is different. So if
no,
you have your really like specific question about your case, you can let us know, so that we can like try to come up with some ideas for you. Yeah, but then I would say knowing your child more is the key, and also trying different things. Don't worry about, like, don't get disappointed or get upset that your child is not following, or it's like, I mean, this is common, so, and then you're not the only one. Just just keep trying, and I'm sure there will be a way we can find out to help him or help her.
absolutely,
Hmm.
yeah.
Right. Okay, Henry, we have like a tons of other questions, so maybe we should go through them
And then
quickly.
later on we can give the audience the chance to ask questions as well. If
Yes.
that, yeah.
Right.
Let's see here. These are good questions, to be honest with you. They're all good questions, but obviously, we just have to choose one of them, right? So let me take a look here. You know what? I'll see if I can find one here. These are really hard. These are really hard choices, right? Because I think many of these questions are still pretty good, right?
Okay.
Oh, let's you know what Halloween scenarios. Let's see here. Okay, I just want to make sure that we can still play it, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is still
even if we
fine.
go to
Yeah.
different, um, it doesn't shut off, right? So
Right. Or if you're watching, you can let us know. Are you going to take your kid to trick or treating? And if
yeah,
you're going
so Halloween's
to,
coming this week, right? So
because there
um,
are so many options. I know what, at least around our area, there are some shopping malls. They do offer that.
this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is also like related to sensitivity. I think this one
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean, autism, one of the major hallmarks of autism is the oversensitivity to certain types of sensations. Could be light, light, could be sound, right, or texture of things that would really interfere with everyday life, right, or to interfere with, especially impacting social communication with other people, right. So um, this is a very common issue. Now, I have one of the questions I would like to share with you is overstimulation. So during Halloween, this parent has noticed that lights are flashing, music are loud, and kids are running around in costumes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, this child gets excited, but soon becomes overwhelmed. He covers his ears and starts yelling. Other parents they would stare, and this parent is feeling unsure how to help him calm down or decide when to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the question, right? How can this parent manage the child's sensory overloaded behavior in busy or unpredictable Halloween environments? Yeah, this is like a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start this off. So, as I said, there's a lot of different types of sensitivities, right? Lights, sound, texture, right? Or just the personal space. Like maybe some kids might be they're very afraid of crowds, right? But one thing that I can come up with immediately is sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the very common strategies that we typically do, let's just say that there's a lot of sound and loud music, dance music, and this child is just can't tolerate it anymore, right? What we can do is we can have headphones for this child. It could be noise canceling headphones or any other types of headphones that would allow the child to filter or at least to mute or muzzle the sounds a little bit to some extent. So I think in this type of situation, I think it would be a really good idea to prepare earmuffs for him to
Mm-hmm.
wear it, especially when you anticipate that it's going to be too loud for the child.
Mm-hmm. Or you can try to find out like a costume that has the ear muff so that it's just like it's
Yeah,
part
that's
of the
awesome.
costume. That would be really great too. But however, we also have to see if like this is. I don't think we can put on the earmuffs like right on that day because it might take time for the kid to
To
get used to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it's one of the good strategies. So or we can choose to go somewhere else that's like quieter. I mean, like there's so many different options because I just mentioned we could choose to go to a shopping
Yeah.
mall. But then if you go to a shopping mall, then it's more controllable because it's indoor and it doesn't matter. Like the
Well,
weather
and,
doesn't
and
seem to
and I think
matter.
safety as well too. Just
Yeah.
because especially here in Metro Vancouver, I definitely noticed that some of the neighborhoods are not that safe anymore. So maybe 30 years ago, it's much more common to go trick or treating from house to house. But now also because of the prevalence of people living in condominiums, right, high rise
Mhm.
buildings, right. So it may be a little bit impractical to do trick or treating door to door. So as Sally has said, right, a very common, very popular way to do trick or treating is go from shops to shops in the mall.
Hmm. And I think when we go there, it's crowded. Usually, it's really crowded with lots of kids running around. But then it depends. If your kid is okay about that kind of environment, then why not go to the shopping mall? But then if your child is like more like needs more calm, quieter environment, then I would say going to door it might be a better option because like you can choose to go to
Absolutely.
a quieter neighborhood or just go into that that house just when they're you see less kids
Yeah.
around. So, but then in the shopping mall, they're so just like so crowded. So you can make your choice, and yeah.
In terms of lights, I do notice that some individuals are very sensitive to fluorescent lights, in particular strobe lights. To be honest with you, I think for some people they do feel irritated when the lights keep moving around or turning on and
Yeah,
off.
right.
Never mind autistic individuals, right? So um, I think especially in advance, if you are planning some sort of a Halloween party for your kids, definitely the environment should be something that you should consider. Perhaps maybe having a smaller party rather than, like, for example, rather than have a party, having a dance party, Halloween dance party for 20 kids, maybe think about Halloween party where they can munch in candies or chocolates, or even to have some board games together for just like maybe 4 kids in total, right? Um, this is something that you can think about as well in advance, right? Especially when it comes to crowds. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
absolutely. And then also for I just keep thinking about the costume because like I think lots of kids like they just love some
They
kids
do,
they
yeah.
love wearing like really cute costumes.
Yeah.
But we also have some kids they just don't, or maybe they're so picky on their clothes. So I would like to say if you have not put on the costume on your kid yet for this Friday, please start doing it now today. Practice it
Absolutely.
every day, and then also pair the costume with something good, such as maybe a like a chocolate or
Oh,
something
not.
candies.
I would say not just that, but
Mhm.
definitely find out what types of themes or what types of themes that your child prefer. Then I think
Mm.
definitely there's more motivation for the child to actually wear that costume.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
though, yes, it is possible that your child may be sensitive to certain types of textures in
Mhm.
that clothing, in that costume. But if it's paired with, let's just say that Paw Patrol, right? My son likes Paw Patrol now, right? So
That's
oh, is that that's right over there?
right there.
Yeah, just
Okay.
photobombing us right now. So, yeah, like this is something that you can
Right.
consider, right? Finding a theme that your child likes.
Right, right, exactly. So
Yeah,
and yeah, pairing I think it's all is good.
yeah.
Right. Okay. I hope you guys will enjoy the Halloween and trick or treating. I hope like parents also enjoy it too.
We have about what 8 more minutes, right?
Yeah.
Let's take it to the audience and see if you guys have any other questions concerning Halloween. So,
Right. Or maybe I do want to talk about school.
oh
Is that
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Because I think
that's a great
this is
idea.
really common. Um, it just happened like this last week or
Yeah, yeah.
last week or two because like lots of IEPs are coming, and
IEP
I also
season
have lots of IEP meetings coming up this two
as well.
weeks.
IEP season,
So some I this is like a question that I hear a lot from parents, especially for newer parents,
absolutely.
kindergarten parents, or even maybe high school, like junior high school parents.
I just had a team meeting that lasts for 3 hours.
Oh
An
wow!
IEP meeting.
Oh
It was
wow!
a
Okay.
record.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
So, IEP meetings can be very
That's
short.
really rare though, because of teachers they're really busy. It's really rare that they would have
They
like
were
three
very busy.
hours,
Yeah, yeah. I was
right?
surprised actually.
Okay.
So, some IEP meetings can be as short as 30 minutes. I've heard from
Mm-hmm.
parents. In
Mm-hmm.
certain school districts, they only allow like up to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But other school, like other school districts, they do have 1 hour. Usually, in my experience,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that I attended as a behavioral consultant myself,
Mm-hmm.
IEP meetings tend to go for 1 hour. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's the same for you or not.
Yeah, I would say so. It's
Usually it's 1 hour.
1 hour is really common.
Yeah,
So but I mean like what we have to know is like because like, some parents they don't even know, oh, what do I expect? Like what is it going to be like? Because like, I think some parents are really worried and they
definitely.
don't know what their role is going to be. So basically for parents you just be yourself, and then your role is really important because you can fill in all the information that like the team doesn't know, like the teachers don't know, or like the home teams, like you are the really important person to fill in all these gaps for everybody, and then your concerns are really important to be shared during that meeting, because usually for the IEP meeting, the resource teacher would take down all the
Yeah.
notes from you, from all of
Mhm.
the people who participate, just to make sure that your concerns are addressed,
Shared.
shared, and also addressed in the school plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, I can't say for all school districts, right? But I do
Mm-hmm.
know for school districts here in Richmond, British Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes for some schools, they may actually send a questionnaire, like an
Mm-hmm.
IEP questionnaire to the parents in advance to fill
Mm-hmm.
that out, to fill in strengths and stretches, right, or challenges for
Mm-hmm.
the child in terms of learning profile, or in different types of domains, right. I would highly recommend really fill this out in detail,
Mm-hmm.
because that maybe can be used as part of the IEP planning document to be used during the IEP meeting. So I
Mm-hmm.
highly recommend actually spending time to focus on that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be really useful. And also, definitely, I would highly recommend to proactively email, either the resource teacher, the actual school teacher, or the principal, to hopefully allow the other professionals to observe your child in the school environment, because
Mm-hmm.
I do know there's some schools that they may not allow behavioral consultants or speech language pathologists or occupational therapists to observe. So definitely do check in with your school district whether that's allowed or not. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really key here.
Yes, that's right. I think working together is so important,
Yeah,
and also parents do not afraid to bring up your concerns, and also, well, also I just want to make sure that parents understand that they might not know. Oh, what should I share? Like how much I can
absolutely. Yeah,
share.
yeah,
So normally for an IEP meeting, they do have like it's a kind of a plan, right? Educational plan. So you can think when you think about it, you can separate into different categories such as like academics or like social skills,
social skills. Yeah,
communication skills. So we break it down
emotional
into
regulation.
yeah,
Yeah,
emotional regulation for language skills or communication skills. We also break it down into two parts like
definitely.
receptive language or expressive language. So we can also think think all these goals in these different categories.
Absolutely.
So if you have that plan in mind, then it will be easier for you to join the meeting when when the teachers ask you questions, and you at least have some ideas or something in mind to share with them, because like if you don't prepare beforehand you might forget, and then yeah, it would be good to prepare
Yeah,
before.
definitely. I would say definitely break it down into steps,
Mm-hmm.
break it down into different domains, and think about it in these individual domains
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Um, just because, yeah, and I think coming in from parental experience, with an autistic child, I think, um, sometimes for me it can be overwhelming even
Mm-hmm.
though I'm in this field, so never mind other parents who are not in this field, right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine the emotions and the amount of stress that they go through,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things that I could definitely suggest you to do is really take the time and break it down into different domains and steps, and then describe them as much as possible in these individual domains.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I think that's about the IEP meeting.
Yeah.
Anything else we should talk about that? Like you also mentioned about the observation part, like to recommend like
Oh,
busy.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
And I think that's important just because, if outside professional, like the learner's professional, for example, a behavioral consultant or a speech language pathologist, etc., can actually go into the school system to observe, they may see something happening in the school that can allow them to better plan their own, for example, social groups programs, or one-to-one behavior therapy programs. And I
mm-hmm.
think would be really good to complement what the school has been doing so far.
Mm-hmm, right. We only have really just like about 2 minutes. I think one concern that lots of parents have, especially nowadays in our area in Canada, Vancouver, we always hear that the shortage of EA,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
shortage of support. So I just want to mention about that. This is kind of really upsetting, like for lots of parents. But then I also want to mention that you're not the only one, because when I hear parents saying that to me, and I can feel that, like I can feel the stress and also the you know the emotions. So but then I but unfortunately this is how it is right now currently in our in our area, right?
In Metro
In
Vancouver.
Metro Vancouver, we know that it is really short of support, especially for children. They do not have aggressive behavior, or maybe they don't escape, or they don't have like behavior that would probably like hurt themselves,
I think one
and
I think
others.
one of the major factors why there's so much shortage of education
Mm,
assistance, right? I know other school districts might call they use different names, but in Richmond School District, School District 38 here, Richmond, British Columbia, we do use education assistance, and I think this is pretty common throughout Metro Vancouver. Is you know the EAs are not paid enough for the amount of work that they do and the level of skills and expertise that they are expected to do.
Mm.
It's pretty mismatched, to be honest with you.
Mm,
It
that
is.
might be just one of the
It's one
reasons.
of the reasons
I'm
for
not
sure.
sure if this is like the complete reason about that, because we know that after COVID, and then
Yeah,
lots of places, the government needs to joke around with
funding
the
as well too.
funding.
Yeah,
So I think
funding. I
the
think it's another
funding
issue as
is
well.
not about. I think lots of people still want to work in the school system as an EA, but then I
Absolutely,
think the jobs are less too. It seems like, or they don't
career
have the,
opportunities,
and then
the
the
career
funding. I think the
prospects. Yeah,
funding is
funding
is
is.
is, is the key
I
in
think
this
it. I think
case.
funding is the major
Yeah,
one.
the major
I
one.
agree.
So they don't even have enough funding to hire that many staff. So yeah, unfortunately, but then hopefully we can all work together. And then if parents also got some knowledge about that, and then if they can also work at home with their kids, all these strategies, it would be really helpful.
Yeah,
Because well, even though we send the kids to school, they're just there for a couple of hours. Most of the time, you're with your child. So our channel is like really, we hope to be here to support you throughout all
I think we
these.
have more people coming in.
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah. If you're here, you can say
can
hi to us. Let us know
we can
where
hang out
you're
a little bit
from.
longer.
Yeah.
This is now that we mentioned about IEP meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting. Because recently, as a parent myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking with my son's classmates' parents, right? And they mentioned quite a bit about after school care.
Mm.
Um, I think it'd be really interesting to maybe
After school
talk
care.
about that either today
Mm.
or next time,
Okay.
because I think for parents with autistic kids is very difficult. They go through a lot of stress, right? But at the same
Mm.
time, parents have to work as well, right?
Mm.
And to balance self care time, family time, right, and couples time can be challenging, right?
Mm.
And after school care is a pretty good option, right? But obviously, there is a long wait list for childcare spaces, and it depends on whether that childcare center may have the resources and knowledge and expertise and know-how to facilitate learning for autistic kids as well. So I think this is something that,
Mm.
yeah, I think would be really good
Mm-hmm.
to
Like
talk
staffing, no?
staffing levels.
Mm-hmm.
And
Levels and.
because I do have a parent who asked me that in terms of daycare spaces and stuff for autistic kids just recently.
I
I
see.
think would be
Okay. I
really
think
good.
that's a really good, yeah, piece of information if we can share, or maybe Henry, you can share more next time. Yeah,
Definitely.
if you are interested in all these, let me know. Let us know so that we know what to prepare for the next time. Um,
And please, comment below and let us know. Yeah, what
right.
types of topics are you guys are interested in
Yeah.
in hearing from us, especially in the November version of the live Q&A
Yeah.
for next month.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know.
Okay. So we hope you have a enjoyable Halloween.
Have a rest of the yeah, just enjoy the Halloween night, and then we will come back in November and we'll chat more.
Okay. Bye
Thanks so much.
now.
Bye.